Oh, I know. I'm doing like this. The stain on your shirt. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. You're good. I'll
But
let you know when we should be live. Yep, we are live. Okay,
cool.
awesome.
Mm.
We're both fixing ourselves up here. All
Yep.
right, I'm gonna hit record. Record. There we go. All right. So we're a little early. Let me just go ahead and welcome everybody. To leave a comment or ask Nina, yay, a question.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's always fun. Okay.
Yeah, I hope we get some followers.
I
Hmm.
know, I know. I used to when when you back away from stuff, it's hard sometimes. People don't come back as quickly, but we used to get quite a few when I
Yeah.
did this often, everything horses and more. All right, my dear, we are on. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a few months since I did an Everything Horses and More podcast. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Caroline Best, founder of the Tao of Horsemanship and your host. And today I am delighted to have a guest, Nina.
Hello.
Hello, Nina.
Hello. Good to be here.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, Hans. Great to have you. In today's title, I'm going to be interviewing Nina and from doubt to confidence. And this is about her experience working with me, especially being here for a 3 week private immersion. So welcome again. And I'm going to go ahead and just read the intro to this podcast for those of you that did not get the post or the email, since this is being streamed live to YouTube. A lot of you just stay on YouTube. So, in this episode, I'm thrilled to feature again a student spotlight on Nina, an Israeli equestrian whose journey has taken her from early riding lessons to instructor certification, ultimately achieving a true partnership through the Tao of Horsemanship method. She'll fill you in on her instructor certification. And so it's just really awesome because, in your country, like in many different countries, and even in the United States, you got certified in your country and then you come here to learn a way
Mm.
that feels right to your heart and a way that works better for your horse as well. So we'll dive into that. Um,
Yes.
so along the way of Nina's journey, being a student of mine for almost 2 years now, Nina,
Yeah.
it's
Just about 2 years. Yeah.
yeah. She's going to share how she discovered the magic and mindfulness that come from slowing down and listening to the horses. And we'll give a great example of this morning's work with Blue.
Mm.
Her story is one of true transformation, moving from doubt to confidence through my holistic horsemanship, all while learning the delicate balance of tough love, trust, and connection. So we're going to talk a little bit about, well, let's just go ahead. Introduce yourself, where you're
Yes.
from.
Yes. So I'm Nina. I'm 33 years old and from Israel. And I've always loved horses. As a little child already, it was an obsessive love for this animal. So I started riding at around 9 years of age until the age of 14, 15. I had a small jumping pony. So I learned everything on that little pony, sweet one. And then at the age of 14 till around age 30, I was busy doing other things and just left the world of horses and haven't gotten to great places in my life. And one day, my niece went for a riding lesson, and I came with her, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I ever leave this world? And shortly after, I bought a beautiful Frisian horse, 3 years old, totally green. And I thought, like, wow, this is very overwhelming. I don't know very much. And that gave me the drive to do the instructor's course, just to get a little bit more information and know-how, and
And
hopefully also teach.
just for
Yeah.
our viewers, her instructor course is in Israel. It was not with me. So
Yes.
she's working towards a partial, not certification, but she's definitely going to be leaving here with a certification of completion, and
Mm.
with honors. She doesn't know that, but
Awesome.
yeah, she's just done an amazing job. I just want to make that clear that in 3 weeks with me, you can't get certified, but we're working towards that should she want to become certified. So,
Yes.
so you got
Amazing.
your
Yeah.
yeah, you got your certification. What kind of process was that in Israel?
So, so let me explain a bit about the certification. It's a basic certification for English writing. So you can excel in English writing and either go with the sports, which means learning the jumping and just way more like harder courses. Or you can go to the therapeutic, which is like learning about how to work with people with disabilities or PTSD and so on. So I just stuck to the basic. I just wanted to get that down. And
And
honestly, I was a bit frustrated.
what did the basics include though? Like,
So lunging the horse without a rider, lunging the horse with a rider, and just basic lessons for beginner intermediate riders. So that's walk and trot, with a private lesson, meaning one-on-one, and also a group lesson. Barely touching the canter, no poles, no jumping, nothing like that. So
no
very simple.
biomechanics, no
So
rehabilitation, no problem horses.
So we had veterinary 101, but
Hmm.
it was very vague and very fast. It was a very fast course. Within 3 months, I was done.
Wow.
So I didn't learn much, and I didn't gain any confidence either. And that's why I didn't instruct.
Hmm.
I just tried to use what I learned, what I liked and connected to with my horse and with the help of other trainers. And, even though I didn't do much with my horse, Emily, the progress wasn't there. The only thing I had was a loving bond with her. But, we got to areas where we both felt nervous and unconfident, and that didn't help my horse.
And
And
she was afraid of lunging too. You had a
it
horse
was
that, yep, took off, reacted, afraid of the whip. Yes.
exactly. So I was looking online for all kinds of people who use more holistic approaches, and that's when I stumbled upon one of your videos with Dolce,
Yeah.
which was this gray horse, and you were in this snowy arena, huge arena paddock,
Yeah.
and she didn't want to come to you, but within like 10 minutes, without chasing her, she just came to you with this happy look, and I was like, damn, I want that. I need that. And I joined your course, and it's a very huge course, the Dream Riding membership program. So I took bits and parts and tried, and I got I got a little bit of progress. Emily is less afraid of the whip, and she's less head shy and more willing to come and more playful, but I still didn't have the confidence to really work through our issues and fears. And
It is
that's
a
when I just,
step-by-step process too. Once you start, you're not supposed to skip around. And a lot of students unfortunately do skip around. They don't think they need this or they really want to solve this problem. What they don't realize is the program's so comprehensive and it's so organic. I purposely have designed something that will fix everything if you just follow the process.
yeah,
And you get that now, but it takes a while. You got to be ready and
yeah,
open for it. So yeah, so
yeah,
you and I did a little bit of coaching in the group coaching with the video library membership, and you were doing really well. You were taking my advice with her when we did that kind of group coaching, and you were making some progress with her, definitely.
yeah, yeah. But another reason why did I come to you was actually on a personal level as well. I'm newly married, and I want to become a mom soon as well. And I just want to get to the best mind space and confidence in everything that I do. So I randomly messaged you one day and said, "Hey, do you do like personal development as well?" Which is also a massive part of this dream membership program is you have to look at yourself holistically and the horse holistically, because it's all intertwined. They feel us, and when we're not present, they don't want to work with you, or just problems start happening, and we miss these small things that are actually really big red flags. And you can't push that process. And if you feel tense or stressed inside of you, you need to take that moment and calm yourself down
Be
before
aware of it.
jumping
Just be
onto.
too, yeah,
Yeah.
just to slow down. That's a huge thing. What you came here to work on yourself. Um, it had nothing to do with the horsemanship. I set you up with a schedule every morning, Monday through Friday. And just with that
Mhm.
schedule, you guys, this is what I do. Nina's not the first student that I've helped personally, but one of the things you wanted was whether you knew this or not, you needed structure. Like you came for a specific problem, which I'm not going to identify unless you want to, a specific
Okay.
problem. And how I work, like I do in my horsemanship, is we're going to go all the way around it and fix all these weak spots that show up in your life, the way you feel about things and the way you handle things and the way you do things. Let's tighten that up. And that's going to help support that one area that you really need help with.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, that one area has a lot to do with self regulation and self soothing and being able to get in a flow in your daily life, because you can't work with your horse all the time. So how do you can't just do the horsemanship. It's how can you create new habits, healthy habits. They come from cognitive pattern recognition, from changing the neural pathways in your brain. So you must do the physical and start to change that routine and adopt a new routine, which the body finds a flow. And when it finds flow and it finds that rhythm, then you will naturally release the chemicals endorphin and dopamine. And those are the two key, especially dopamine. That dopamine high is stronger than a heroin high. This is the high that all athletes get. You get in that zone that we get in. I talk about it all the time in my program, my dream riding partnership program that you're involved in. I call it the endorphin high. And so it's just amazing. And you've had, if I can speak for you, you've had a lot of those endorphin highs here. It's just in different at different times throughout the day, the
Yes.
magic. But now we need to like be aware of how that feels, because it's a visceral feeling. The chemical goes through the whole body, you guys, and that is what resets the nervous system and resets the neural pathways. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
attacking both. I'm helping you reset your nervous system, but I'm also structuring you so you adopt healthy habits that reset the neural pathways. And 3 weeks was just enough time. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
this. You were newlywed, you got lots going on, you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't give any more time. 4 weeks, 28 days would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, but you're doing amazing. That's the big but. Nina
Thank
is
you.
doing so well. She was so ready for this, you guys, and so wanting of this. It's just the
Yes.
perfect time for you. And that's why, like when you go back to the lessons and the step-by-step curriculum in the program, like I said to you, and that was another big thing in your horsemanship coming is,
Yeah.
I teach personal development, horsemanship, and about horses in my program, and you're getting all three. You're learning the horse. It's like you can't begin to problem solve until you know who your horse is. You got to know
Yes.
a little bit about them, like how they're going to respond, what they need to feel safe. And so you're learning a lot about that with all the different horses you're working with.
Yes, exactly. And just like how I'm learning to regulate my nervous system, we're learning how to regulate the horse as
Mm-hmm.
well at that time. And your horses are open and regulated already living with you. They
All
have
but
their
one,
triggers.
all but one, Bandit. We're getting
Yes,
there. Thanks to you, we're
yeah,
getting there.
yeah, exactly. But it shows you how much our our mindset affects them. So just hanging on to that regulated nervous system and feeling empathetic towards your surroundings and looking at everything in an objective, loving way really helps work better and create a structure, because you want to feel good throughout
You want to.
everything. Yeah.
That's
And
releasing
just,
the endorphin. I don't think people get that. It's, we're so agenda focused, and you were
yeah.
too. You were
Yes.
missing the mark. You were missing everything the first week. Your schedule in the morning, I'm like, okay, Nina, you're going to be taking care of the horses in the morning. You're going to bring them in. You're going to bring them to their appropriate stalls. You're going to feed them. You got to learn the feed. There's supplements, there's so we only have 5 horses here now, but it's plenty, and cleaning up, and there's a rhythm to it. And so anybody that's worked with me, or whether you're a student or an employee, being a business, you can't run a business and a business, people, a farm, and a family if you're not damn well organized. And that's the left side of my brain. I'm very creative, I'm an artist, but I've definitely used my left side a lot. So I'm very structured. You've got to have structure in your life. You also have to allow for flexibility and spontaneity. Don't get me wrong. There's always work. We're always working on that balance. But the point I'm making is most people come and they either have too much of that structure and not enough of the flexibility, too controlling, or they're the other extreme. And you came in the other extreme, not enough structure in your life. You were a victim of ADHD, and I kept telling you, don't be a victim, don't make an excuse. I probably have ADHD. I was never diagnosed, but I guarantee you I had it. Don't let that stop you. That's an understanding about who you are. It's not an
Yes.
excuse. And just like we want to understand a horse and what's the best way for our horse to learn, we must give that to ourselves. What's the best way for us to learn? Okay, what's going to help us learn? And when you can create healthy habits, it becomes second nature. That's
Mhm.
where that's where the brain, the neural pathways take over, and it's a subconscious action. So if I could at least get you out of victimizing yourself, and you weren't a big victim, but that's your self-doubt. That's part of your self-esteem. That's part of your lack of self-confidence was, well, damn it, I have this huge problem. I'm not a good learner. And I'm
Yeah.
like, either was I.
Hmm.
I understand that. But if we can get into these healthy habits and we learn how to break things down and find the flow,
Yes.
then we're working with our system. We're working with ourselves. We're working with the horse, not against it. And so
Exactly.
I'm so proud to say,
Mhm.
it's night and day. You
Yes.
coming in and taking care of everything and finding the flow. And compared to when you first came, you know,
Yeah,
it was
and
hard.
it's all thanks to really slowing down, first of all. I mean, I came here and I wanted to accomplish all these things, and at times it felt overwhelming. And you have to take it step by step, day by day, and find your flow and use your head, critical thinking, and things just become a lot clearer when you slow down and you realize,
You're
oh, I
changing
need
the
to be here.
algorithms. The science
Yes,
is you're changing your brain's algorithms. You're
yes.
changing it, you guys. I would leave Nina a detailed text, step by step. Um, and I, I give a little bit of direction in the beginning, but I want to assess you. I want to see how you were doing. It wasn't that I was setting you up for anything negative. And just with that step by step, she missed everything, like literally 75% of it. And so that was great. That was information. That wasn't criticism. That was information. So now I could go back and say, Nina, just read what I wrote. Slow yourself down and just read one sentence at a time. And this is a perfect example of anyone like myself and Nina who's had trouble retaining information. A lot of students will join this program of mine, anything, you'll join anybody's online course, but it's hard. Well, I'm a visual person. I need to be out there working with the horse. I understand that. But it's also kind of like an excuse. Like you still need to read, you still need to watch, you need to put all these pieces together little by little, step by step.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just amazing to see the transformation with you,
Thank you.
and your self-confidence. So like when you came here on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being no self-confidence and 10 feeling like you can do anything, where are you in that scale of 1 to 10?
I was at a 1 or 2 probably, especially when I realized after a couple days that I'm all over the place and that I'm not retaining information like you said, and I wasn't able to complete the tasks in the perfect way and in that flow that you do. So it was I really wanted to slow that down, and that opened up so many
That's all you had to do.
windows of
That's
yeah,
all you
and,
had to do was the word slow. Just
yeah,
slow down,
and when you
work.
you take that with you with the horses and the training, they appreciate that. They're willing to give them so much. We need to let
Yes, they
go of that agenda and say, hey, in 20 days, I'm riding this horse. No, you need to see every step with the moment you put a saddle on, how is he on the ground? What are the signs? Is there anything different? And we can prevent so many accidents and blowing a horse by just listening. And I've seen it many, many times, almost every day, how your horses communicate to you and how you help them so much in that way. And it's the most rewarding, better than any high I've experienced, is that
see.
bond and their willingness to be with you and come and protect you and everything. It's just amazing. And anytime we put Bandit or Blue under saddle, everyone came to the round
Everyone's
pen.
like, do you need help? Can we support
Yes,
you? Horses and humans. They're
it's
right there like a magnet by
it's
us.
like a Disney movie, really, like a Disney movie. It's amazing.
Yeah,
And that's
it
yeah,
is. It makes me want to cry. You have to come here to experience it. And everybody can experience this with their own horses, but you got to slow down. I talk about telepathy all the time, and we just posted that video of yesterday,
yeah.
on my social media, and it was just a quick phone clip of taking Bandit out into the big pasture. Nina's riding Bandit. It'll be his first time out there, and he's still learning. He's in his second week. He still doesn't quite understand what we're asking of him, but he's so willing to do it. And there is still a little bit of tension with him, in the mouth, like he'll do the, and he's not grinding his
Yeah,
teeth, but he's trying to process and release, because every time he does it, he licks and chews afterwards. That's how you know he's stressed, but he's thinking and he's processing. So you've got to pay attention to that, because if you kept pushing and you didn't stop and allow him to dwell a little bit, then this is where you'll get a horse that'll end up bolting and bucking and
yeah.
rushing through everything and becoming, learning learned helplessness. They just check out completely. And we don't want any of that. But the point I'm making is, Nina's like, how did you know what your horses were thinking? And I'm
Mm.
like, when you work like this, you tie your nervous systems together. Like, this is where I take the woo woo away. This is the science. You're getting into heart coherence, you're getting into heart rate variability and syncing, aligning each other. And so my horses are looking for safety from me, and I'm looking for safety from them. So we already know how good it feels when we align our nervous systems
Mm.
and our heart rate variability. So we're always looking for that. And that's the key. Instead, if your horse isn't looking for that from you, then they're going to take care of it themselves. That's how
Yeah,
accidents happen. That's how they end up in their sympathetic nervous system of self-preservation, and they're just going to do what they need to do to feel safe. So it's really, that's the personal development too, is really anchoring you guys, really feeling on a somatic level what it feels like to be in heart rate variability in the parasympathetic, and then syncing that nervous system frequency, that energy, with movement. So now you and your horse are learning all that on the ground, and then you're going to transfer that alignment to the movement under saddle. Yeah, so I mean that in a nutshell is where the work takes you. Um, Let
and
me
then
get
they
back.
connect.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I want to add to that experience when we took Bandit out.
Oh, I
Caroline,
love. There you go. Yeah.
sorry, I'm just getting calls from my sister.
Oh, that's
But
it. Got it.
yeah, but you were riding Zor and you were ponying us, meaning we were online. So in case anything happens with Bandit, you are online. But guess who took the rope? It was Joey, who was free to roam around in that big paddock. He was like, okay, mom, I'm going to protect you. I'll take the rope. And Zor was like,
Well,
no, I'll protect.
even before that, when we brought Bandit and Zor out, tacked up into the training area where Joey was waiting for us. Joey could have left and
Yeah,
gone out into the big pasture to graze, but he knew. He waited and then he nickered to me, that real soft, intimate, like, oh, came
yeah,
over to us and escorted us to the mounting block where we both got on. And that's where it began.
yeah. So it's like you don't even need to ask. They'll come to you. It,
They're
it's
always there.
it's unbelievable, really. And also with Blue, now starting him under saddle, it's these small signs that you need to assess every step of the way before getting on and asking too much. It's a really fine line here between love and empathy and then leadership as well, and asserting yourself at the right time, but you have to be fair. And
Yeah.
you can't do that if you have that agenda.
Mhm.
You have to be present now, here and now, and
Yep.
regulate yourself because
And both
we a
of
lot of
them,
the time
yeah, both
escalate.
of the babies need that. Bandit's 8 and Blue's 7, so they're not really babies anymore, but they're late bloomers. Bandit was a wild horse. He wasn't mine in the beginning. Now he's mine. Blue is a late bloomer, but you know, this is still all new to them. And I want the getting on and riding to be a great experience for them because they're going to want to partner with us that way because it feels so good, and they're going to want to take care of us because we will have earned their trust, their respect to be part of their family. I cannot emphasize this way enough, you guys. So I ride in a bareback pad with no helmet. I don't do that to be cocky. I don't do that because look at me, look what I can do. Hell no. One bad fall and I'm either dead or crippled. Okay, my body's been so banged up in the past, not since I've been doing this when I was little. I've been thrown into jumps. I've had too many head concussions. I've had too many things happen. I can't take any kind of impact anymore. So it humbles you. It makes you go slow when you realize the jeopardy that's at stake, your well-being. But
Mhm.
I don't even think like that. I think about the horse first. I want to know, are you okay with this? Because if you're not okay, I'm not going to be okay. My heart's not going to be okay, and I'm physically not going to be taken care of. And I know what it's like for all of you that want to feel that amazing friendship and partnership where you don't have to worry anymore. You don't have to worry because your horse is going to look to you for safety or they're going to take care of you. Like in that short video that I posted on YouTube and all my other social media, I posted it up on YouTube this morning of us with Bandit and Zor and Joey. I mean, you see Zor scanning. Is everything safe? I got my mom and I got, we have, I have
The
people, I have
herd,
family that I have to, yeah,
the
my herd
herd.
that I have to take care of. So he's like, okay, where's Lovey? Where's Blue? Where's everybody? And then I'm ponying you also because I know I'm going to need to lead you. I know at some point Bandit's not going to want to follow or ride with us, right? He's like, wait a minute, what are we doing? So
Yeah,
I've
it's
got
his
to
free
pull
space.
you a little bit along. And anyway, it's just so beautiful to see Joey there, trying to grab the lead rope that I have attached to you, and then Zor gets jealous and grabs the other end of the lead rope. Meanwhile, he's
Yeah,
pinning his ears and trying to tell Joey to back off. I got this under control. Back off, bitch. I'm in
yeah,
charge.
it's
It's
amazing. And then we got to the water trough, and Bandit was already like, I've had enough, and he won't drink. And you were like, Zora's gonna make him drink. And within seconds, Bandit was drinking.
So
It,
yeah, Bandit had had enough, and you got it, and he totally was checking out and just standing there just checked out, guys, not blinking. He did not look happy. And Zor's drinking and he's playing in the water. And I said,
Yeah.
it's really important that Bandit drinks, not because he needs water, but because he's not relaxed and he's not
Yeah.
happy. And, and so that's when I said, just wait, Zor, because Zor was already like touching him and looking at him. I
Yeah.
said, just wait, Zor's going to make him drink. So Zor kept putting his nose deeper in the trough and splashing Bandit with all this water. And then he's like touching Bandit, like, it's okay, drink. And then Bandit went straight down and he drank forever, like so
Yeah.
long. He just stayed there and drank and drank and drank. It was beautiful. And then he was blinking and he had a soft eye and he was more relaxed. And then it was halfway through our ride. And then we were able to finish our ride. And I did not film this, but I unclipped or did unclip you. You took the lead line
Yes.
and put it over,
The
your
saddle.
bareback pad, and you guys rode around for a little bit
Yeah.
by
And he
yourselves.
went perfectly to the mounting block. It's really amazing, but we'll miss all of that if we're not present and
Well,
regulated.
this is why people put saddles on horses. It's really unfair. I am I'm so sick of this shit. I'm sick of bits and I'm sick of saddles. It's like I like a nice Western saddle, don't get me wrong, that feels good to me and the horse. I love a nice dressage saddle that's like butter and feels good for me and the horse. But when we use them for the wrong reasons, like
Yeah.
anybody would start these two young horses. First of all, they would have been started a lot sooner, and they would have just saddled them up and rode the buck out of them and pushed them and pushed them and pushed them.
Yeah.
And one, it's a lot of ego. Look what I can do. Look what I can accomplish in 30 days. Second, a lot of trainers or breeders, they've got to get these horses out and sell them. They cost money. I get that. But I don't get it. There's no excuse. And so that's what unfortunately influences all of you I call you backyard horse owners because you're not trainers. You're learning how to develop yourself and your horse, but you're not a professional trainer. So you're like, hey, I want to start my horse, or I want to restart my horse, or I want to teach my horse something completely new and I need to learn the building blocks. But so many people just push these horses through and you never learn to read your horse. You never learn to truly connect. Your horse doesn't want to connect with you because they don't really like you. They just tolerate you. They just
Yeah.
tolerate you.
Absolutely. And that's what I felt also in the instructor's course. These horses were so broken, so tired, and people just think that's normal, and it's not. It's really
Nobody
not.
should
And
learn to ride. Nobody should learn to ride on a lunging horse. It is the worst
yeah.
thing you can do for the horse and the rider for a million reasons. And when you follow the classical training and dressage, and I often use the Spanish School of Riding, but there's more. You just have to find them. And all of these, the Spanish School of Riding is still around. Everybody else, the great masters, are long and gone and passed away. You never put a rider on that horse until that horse is advanced and biomechanically um,
Moving
able to
current.
do all the movements without a rider. So they are balanced, they are collected. Then you introduce the rider to the movement. But what happens? It's bastardized. And it's not even bastardized in the States, it's bastardized all over the world. In your country, what do? Oh, you want to learn the trot? How many of my students have been in accidents because they go to a riding lesson and the first thing this person wants to do is lunge them on a horse at the trot, and they don't even know how to walk on a horse yet, let alone handle the reins. So they're put on this horse who is tight and bracing because they're not balanced. It doesn't feel good in their body. They're not biomechanically sound or correct. They're not moving correctly, this poor horse. So they're tight and they're hollow and they're bracing in the movement. And that is what I call a pogo stick. So there is no way you can sit that movement. And so now you're taught the rising trot and you're not taught correctly. So you're slamming down on the horse's back. That's what gives the lumbar issues. And you get roach back, you get kissing spine. there's so many, it's just a nightmare of a cycle. And when is it going to end? When are these things going to not be allowed? I'll be dead if it ever happens. I'll be long gone by the time it happens. But you shouldn't be taught how to ride. And that's why I developed my program and then the bitless balanced confident rider course for those of you that don't want to invest in a big program. But at least if your horse is of sound mind, you can develop the biomechanic very slowly, methodically, while you're learning how to ride that movement. And so, in the big program, we're developing the horse's movement before you ride the movement. Even at the walk has 3 transitions, and you want to get that really long, lengthened walk because it stretches and it builds elasticity and it builds balance and it builds strength. And
Yeah.
so, God, there's so many like advanced things I pull into the foundation of my teachings so that you guys start out right and you start these horses or restart them correctly, both, inwardly through the nervous system, emotionally, and also through the connection of the relationship and the nervous system together. And that's what your instructor certification completely misses,
Yeah.
like so many
Yeah.
do. It's not just your country, it's our country too. We don't
Yeah.
even have that
We,
in our country. We don't even
yeah.
have a certification. You can get certified in my method or in another method. But that's one thing I say I like in Europe, my Central Europe, because you're part of Europe, but my Central European students like France, Germany, bless you, Switzerland, whatever, Sweden, you can't teach unless you get certified, and you can't get
Yeah.
certified until you apprentice. That's the difference with what you did. I know for a fact in Europe, it's frowned upon. You got to spend years. At least they make you spend years if you want to get a certification as a trainer or an instructor. They're two
Yeah.
completely different things.
No,
Yeah.
it's true. We had to do an apprenticeship as well, but it's like 10
Uh,
hours, look, 10
yeah,
lessons,
that's
and
an
you're just
apprenticeship.
watching.
You're
And you're just
shadowing. All you're
watching.
doing is shadowing.
But
Yeah.
really, an important point that we need to clarify is we've normalized so many things that are so wrong and so unfair to the horse. So don't depend or trust your trainer or any other professional. You need to follow your heart. And if something doesn't feel right or sit right with you, it probably feels horrid for the horse.
Yeah. You want happy
Like,
horses. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, back home, I use a bit and I've had to pull on my horse as well, but only here did I realize how bad that is and how wrong that is. And you shouldn't even want to put yourself in such a situation. So I'm happy to go back and fix those issues because they're huge for the horse, huge, and for us and our safety. And just how I want to treat my horse, I need to treat myself the same way. With love, with empathy, realize if something doesn't feel right,
And leadership,
you
clear.
work that out. You need to work that out before jumping to the next thing.
Yeah, yeah, good point. I know that it's still frowned upon all over the world, not using a bit, and I'm gonna push it down everyone's throat again. I mean, it's cruel. You guys, come on. Come on. I don't care if it's a Snapple bit. I don't care. Nina tried that with me because she didn't know any better. And you have the softest of bits. There's nothing soft about a bit. It's a piece of
It's a
metal.
piece of metal
I
that's
don't care if there's
pressing.
rubber on it. Then you have this thick piece in their mouth. And it's no matter what happens, it's pushing up on the palate on the inside of their mouth or pulling on their bars or coming underneath their chin and exerting pain. It's just you don't need that. And
No.
if you really want a happy, safe horse, you won't need that. You don't need it and you won't need it. And
Yeah.
and so I take the
The
time.
rope halter itself is enough pressure. I mean, if you don't
It can
use
be
that right,
on the
horses
nose.
can flip over by trying to supple them or bend them. And I've
Yes.
felt that with Bandit. And that's a rope halter with no bit, and look what it can do.
Well, it's
So
not so there's two things going on. That's a great point. The rope halter, if and
pressure point.
it's a lot of pressure. Just one finger is more pressure than 3 fingers, right? 3 fingers displaces it. So if you compare these nice, soft marine quality rope halters to a leather halter. The leather halter is much kinder. But the rope halter is soft. You're supposed to teach the horse how to release themselves from pressure. That means when you apply it gently, you're also applying other aids so that you teach them to move away, to give to that pressure. An example would be the halt. An example would be the backup. An example would be suppling side to side. You've got to teach that, and it's in steps and stages. You're never making it happen because that single pressure is now coming down on hundreds of nerve endings on their nose, not to mention the head is the flight zone of the horse. And so when you have a young horse that's being trained to give or yield to pressure, not fear it, but give to it, you've got to understand the natural level of opposition. I think that's the biggest point I made with you because you're helping me start Bandit and Blue's soft, with
Mm.
the
Yeah.
contact, but Bandit isn't. And he's the closest thing to wild. He came from the wild. And he has some triggers because he has definitely something happened to his head. He has an
Yeah.
indentation, but no scar. He came without a halter and you couldn't touch him. So something happened in his brief stay in captivity that we don't know about. So that's a trigger when you're confining his face. Not to
Yep.
mention, he has a stronger sense of self preservation because he's wild. So there's a stronger sense of opposition. When you pull, they're going to push harder to get away. And so that's where he'd do a lot of this snake and trying to get away from the contact. And you did great. And I'm right there to guide you.
Right.
Don't fight that. You don't
Yeah.
want a horse to get to that point where they're fighting contact and you're just taking it. And, there's a fine line of holding and waiting and we filmed all of this, holding and waiting for the horse to get comfortable with that pressure. But we don't want them to get to the point where they try to fight it and go into self-preservation because
Yeah.
then you are fighting their spirit. You're taking everything away from them that is natural to them. People don't get this.
Yeah. It can happen like this, guys. Really, like you have to try to be as soft as possible. And
And you're
and
feeling
that,
timing. Yeah.
yes, yes. It's so important. The in-hand work, as simple as those exercises seem, they are critical for everything that you do and that comes after.
Yeah, the in
So
hand is just mind blowing how we have the basic and then the advanced in hand in the program, and you're just learning the basic, which is
basic.
for the horse to accept the contact, feel safe and relaxed, learn how to back up in a soft frame. You know, they can't back up with resistance, learn how to back up by releasing the tension in the pole and in the shoulders. And then from the back up, we learned the left to right, the side to side suppling, and then we learned the vertical. And that's what you're going to do when you get on. There's your okay, how's my horse? How are they with contact? Can I easily supple them? Can I ask them to come into a frame at the halt because we're preparing that frame becomes preparation for a correct backing where they sit back, they don't hollow out and push you. Everything means something. And it's
Yep.
amazing when you take your time to learn it and like you're doing and teach it because there's so much dwell time. We give so much dwell time where the horse can process what they're learning, where we don't ask anything, we ground, we love on them. Then we're encouraging that lick and chew, that lick and chew, that blow. That tells us that they're thinking, that they're processing or decompressing, and they can't do that without dwell time.
Yeah. And we too, we also will relax
Yeah.
our nervous system because
Yes.
when we get into some sort of confrontation or a horse is becoming, yeah, he's not giving into that pressure, we can't let that escalate too much. So it really helps to stop and slow down and feel good
And
again. We
everybody
don't
says,
even,
well, don't let the horse win. Don't you let that horse win, or we just, as predators, we just go after it and
yeah.
fight it and make it
But
happen.
it's a
Well,
fine line. It's a
mm,
fine line. But if you know 100% that you're being fair to the horse, then you can
yes.
assert yourself because we
And they
don't
know
want,
it, but then they soften into it, don't they? There's no fight.
yep,
It's
yeah,
amazing
there's
how I
no,
know that.
if you're fair, they know. They know and they'll give.
Yes, they
It's
will.
amazing.
They'll
It's
trust you.
amazing.
They'll
Yeah.
trust you. And that's the beauty of Nina coming at this time where I actually had, a wild, he's a domesticated, he's a
Mm.
tamed wild horse now, but he doesn't know anything.
Yeah. The
I just
under the
started.
saddle is new.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the lunging and all his little triggers because of whatever happened in captivity. So we've been working through that, which was great for you because your horses are going to have some triggers and you'll be able to not second guess yourself. You have enough. You've done such a great job taking all this in and learning. And honestly, I mean, we have filmed everything every day, and you
Mm.
have all those videos to see all your wonderful progress and
Mm.
your contribution to both my young horses, 8 and 7, that we just started under saddle, and Blue's in a completely different place than Bandit. Um, it's really wild. And I
Yeah.
know that's why I want to do a webinar about this with these young horses, because I know there's people out there, students that contact me, that have older green horses, that they haven't started with and they've gotten so much pressure. When are you going to ride that horse? When are you going to ride that horse? I'll put 30 days on that horse. I'll get that horse under saddle.
Mm.
Oh
Don't
my
trust
gosh.
that, guys. Don't trust it. It's not the way to do it.
Holy cow. With Blue and everybody that's been on my journey with Blue, the things that I've posted since he was young on YouTube, and then when you join the video library, you get to see more. Um, and we're going to be adding all of this to the video library and encouraging people because I have a specific starting horses and restarting horses short course section in there. But there's so many people that would have started Blue many years ago, and he would have just been explosive. He would have been the most dangerous horse. And and I knew that, and all of that has to do with two things: his nature and his nurture. So his nurture is his prior experiences. To me, I got him at 8 months of age, and he was a complete defunct. He was so dysfunctional with his nervous system. He was a cribber. He was anxious. He was aggressive around food. Um, you couldn't tie him, could barely lead him, and he was a nervous wreck, an absolute nervous wreck, and very reactive, and which made him very dangerous. Okay, so I knew that, and he's my horse, and I wanted to honor him and take the time to help him work through his nervous system. So time was always on my side, but the other thing is maturity wasn't on my side. And it doesn't matter to me, but I'm putting it this way because just because Blue's 7 doesn't mean he's mature. He's not a
Mm.
mature 7. He is in some ways, and this is his nature. He's a very intelligent horse, and he's very willful. They're not stubborn. I don't believe horses are stubborn. If you're stubborn, you're stupid.
Mm.
I've met maybe a handful of stubborn horses who just can't learn. They just repeat is the definition of insanity. They literally repeat the same old thing. And from the age of 5 to 15, not much has changed. So I'm going to say maybe something neurologically is missing there. I don't know. But there are quite a few horses that are willful. And my first introduction was Smokey. Willful, like me, and I am not projecting, as is an understanding. Willful means you've got strong spirit, you got to do things your way, and you want to figure it out on your own. So Blue is that. And it's like right now, we started both Bandit and Blue under saddle at the same time. And we have two completely different horses, though. You
Yep.
can't push Blue. And we haven't. So we haven't seen the stress or anything escalate, but we see the signs of his stress. And we know when to honor that and back away, back off completely, or wait for signs of relaxation and connection again. And can we ask for a little bit more?
Yeah.
And Bandit's similar, but you can push a little bit more with Bandit.
Hmm.
Bandit's much more willing, go forward, got it. he's still like petering out, like I've had enough, I'm getting saturated,
Yeah, and
and
then pause a little bit.
yeah, and he'll start to paw, and it's his second week. That's, what's the rush? It's
Yeah.
all new. It's all new. What's the rush?
Mhm. But then the tarp as well with Blue. The tarp was not a new thing for Blue, and we knew that reintroducing it. So there you kind of asserted yourself as well and said, hey, you know this, you're going to work through it.
You got to grow
And
up. Now it's time to
yeah,
grow up.
and it got a little bit difficult there, and he escalated, and you let him just relax and figure it out himself.
Well,
And he
wait,
went,
wait. Before that happened, though, and this is all on film, you guys. This is crazy. So I've been documenting Blue's tarp journey for years now. I say journey, it's been a journey. So the last time we did the tarp was probably 2 years ago, and I could barely get him to touch it or put a foot on it. Meanwhile, I've got Joey, Zor, and Lovey at liberty, touching it, pulling it, ripping it, trying to help him. Okay. Consecutively within like a 3-year period. And then I said, that's it. Blue is not changing. He's not growing. He's not getting any further. You will not walk over this tarp. So I let it go. 2 years later, he's 7 now, and I know that to help him under saddle, to help him become a better thinker, problem solver, to respect my leadership and to try, but also to trust me, I'm not gonna try that under saddle because I can't get hurt and I don't want it to escalate because it might be too much for him. I reintroduced him to the tarp, and this time, and as Nina just said, I said, Blue, you're going to go over it. I don't care how long it takes. You're going to go over it and go over it many, many times until you can go over it yourself. So we reintroduced the tarp, and it's all on film, and Blue exploded and reared up, ran backwards, reared up, banged into the camera. I was not smart. We then put it outside the fence, but I had it. I'm like, oh, it's 30, 40 feet away. We'll be fine. Oh, he hauled ass backwards as far as he could get away. But what made him escalate like that is my matter of fact attitude. This time I'm not pussyfooting around. So why has it changed? Because in the beginning, I didn't want Blue years ago to be afraid of the tarp. And I didn't want to do anything to escalate that. I just wanted to keep reintroducing it so that he could have a better experience and to see where he's at with it. But now I'm like, it's different. You're maturing, you're 7. Now it's on a little stronger. So I brought the tarp out with matter of fact energy. I set it up with matter of fact energy, and it was too much for him. But I needed to know where he's at. That was my baseline of information. There's no babying anymore. I am going to push because I need to push you so that you start learning how to become a more critical thinker. Horses do have the capability to develop that frontal lobe, to exercise it, okay, to strengthen it, to become better problem solvers. You're going to have to figure it out, and you're going to have to learn how to trust me, because I know all of this is going to help with all these other critical areas, like getting on you and asking you to go forward. And you're just like, I don't really want to.
he was
So
so proud of himself
he
after.
was. This is so cool. So it escalated. We had to move the camera. He's huffing and puffing. He wants nothing to do with this tarp. And I said, it's on like Donkey Kong now. So what do I mean by that? So I'm not here to make it happen. I'm not here to pressure my horse and into learned helplessness or to flood him, but I'm going to work with where he's at. So if he's up and about the tarp, let's go. And the let's go means we're going to try. We're going to work with that nervous system. I'm not going to try and shut it down and get you to, work within your comfort. No, let's go. Let's work with that nervous system. But I'm grounded, and I'm going to keep putting that grounded energy out there until he can connect to that grounded energy, because it's always about the nervous system with horses first. They're not going to do shit. They can't think, they can't connect, they're not going to look for you, they don't want you if they don't feel safe. And as long as that nervous system is up, and go Blues, he wasn't crazy, he wasn't spiraling out of control. That's the other key thing. It wasn't like he was bucking. It wasn't like he was, dragging me all over the place. Okay. We would still have the same kind of mindset and approach, but it would be a little bit different. He did stay online. He did stay with me. He was just up at that trot. But then he came down and his trot got slower. It got more regulated, totally regulated. He blew, he licked and chewed. And then I said, okay, let's stop. And that's when he started trying all on his own.
It was
He
amazing.
started to try. He started to look at it. He started to smell it. He wanted to paw at it. Eventually, he goes over the tarp by himself. It's kind of like um, self-loading in the trailer. It's the same approach, but we're not outside the trailer running the horse in the ground like pressure and release. It has nothing to do with that. If your horse is up and they need to move, that's where their nervous system is. Then move with their nervous system as long as it's not crazy and it doesn't escalate until they can come back down. They've got to be able to work through that flight mode of movement until they can start to override it with endorphin. And they can't do that till they find rhythm and they find regulation in their movement. Then the body is naturally overriding the adrenaline with the endorphin. It is amazing. And then at that point, they're thinking and they're realizing that I'm safe. Nothing happened to me. And I can trust my human and I can respect their leadership even more. And if it's as wonderful as it does get with Bandit and Blue, they do exactly what you wanted them to do all on their own. You don't even have to load them. They're like, I knew exactly what you wanted, but I was too afraid. I'm going right in because they're that smart. It's Nina got to witness this, and I have it on film, and I will be putting it in my video library. It is absolutely amazing. And you see me get big. You see me cuss Blue out when he's like flying backwards and into my camera. And I did not bring out my good camera for that reason. And I'm like, look, motherfucker, get your shit together, son, figure it out. Let's go. You got to move, but you're going to move in a circle. You're going to move to find rhythm. I'm going to structure it so that you move to find rhythm. And the one thing I also know that I want to say, when your horse needs to move, do not let them canter. Trust
Yeah.
me on this. It's got to be a trot. It can be in a big trot. There is no cantering. For one, they're going to hurt themselves. They're going to be too stressed and tight to move correctly. It's going to escalate. They're going to pull away from you. It must be as much as you can a self-contained trot in a big trot. This is really important. And all these things are so important. It's like I give you all my secrets on how to do anything. It's just you guys have got to do the work and not be
Yeah.
afraid to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
stay
been
grounded. Stay
beautiful.
grounded while
Keep
things get
breathing.
hard.
That's been
That's
beautiful to watch with you. To
thank
see
you.
you in the lunging and really taking your hand and taking that breath back in that the breath back into your
Yeah.
belly and really
Yeah.
centering yourself and the change with the horses like and she's with schoolmasters.
Yeah.
She also is working with Lovey and Joey and Zor, but they're going to reflect where you're at. So like if you're
Yeah.
real busy and thinking and not focused and not grounded, then they're just going
They
to keep
won't let you. Yeah,
yeah,
they
they're just
won't
going to
let
keep
you work
going.
with you. Yeah. And by the way, it works with our nervous system as well. Like there were a few times where I felt kind of up and I couldn't ground by just standing and breathing. So I started walking around in the round pen and finding my rhythm and my correct breathing. And it worked for me as well. A lot of the times I can't stand still and bring my nervous system down. So it works for us humans as well
Yeah,
sometimes.
I don't think that's in the program
No,
but it's here now.
yeah,
So you basically, if you can't ground yourself and you're in a lunging pattern, whether it's in a free lunge in the round pen or online, I tell you to just go and work with your imaginary horse. Just go on out there and get in rhythm with your imaginary horse. So you have less to focus on. You don't have to worry about the horse. You're not feeding off of their energy. It's just you. And it
yeah,
works. You can find you can self-regulate that way too.
yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
But the
All right.
breathing is very important. Very, very
Yes.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something you'll be able to focus more on when you get home too. And you'll
My
find
horses.
that you'll find that more easily, Nina, because you don't have to here because it's so structured with me. I mean, you have to, like, you can't get away from it. But when you go home and you're not working with horses and me all day, you're going to have to figure out that breath work in
Yep.
everything you do. You're kind
Yeah.
of forced into it here because it's so structured, right? But when you go
Yeah.
home, I'm not there and you're not working with
Yeah.
horses all day. You'll
It's so
find it.
important.
You
Yeah.
will. It's like I told you earlier, well, I'm like, that's your problem. You're gonna have to figure this out, this breath work. But
Yep.
you're doing it here. It's just
I
you
am.
realize it. And then when you go home, you won't have the structure, but you'll be like, oh my God, I need to find that breath and that rhythm in everything I do, cleaning, moving
Yep.
to the grocery store, driving. How do you all the chaos, you just stay where you need to be.
Absolutely. Exactly. It's been an amazing journey. It really has.
I'm so excited. Is there
And
anything else you want to add before it's an hour? Can you believe an hour just went by?
just flew by. I mean, we could talk forever, but I think we touched on really important points.
We
Yeah.
did. We kind of touched full circle. And
Yeah.
yeah, so you fly back Sunday. You have today through Friday. Yeah,
Yep.
left with the
Mhm.
horses. And
Hmm.
yeah, and then we're gonna have a big dinner Friday night, and then we'll do something fun Saturday before you fly back. And then we'll stay in touch, of course. So
Yes. I'll be happy to post my progress with my horses as well back home.
yeah, I'm excited.
Emily we've done a little bit, Caesar not at all. So it'll be awesome to try with both.
Yeah, and you've had enough variety here to help you,
Yes.
to really help you with a horse that is dull, an old lesson horse and more shut down. And Emily, who's a little, oh, she's so happy. Oh, I love seeing the videos. She's so happy. You
Mhm.
guys, in the beginning, they were both so nervous, especially Emily, and you couldn't even bring a whip around her. And now she's just so alive and
Yeah.
happy. You've done so much with her already.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
really amazing. Small steps towards where you are, and I mean the rewards are just huge.
And the
They're
riding, your
yes.
riding, it's just
Yes.
come
There's
along.
a lot of work still, but I'm so happy I came here.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm so happy you came here. And thank you, everybody, for
Thank you.
listening in. Thank you, Nina. And I'll be back some point with another podcast for everything horses and more. All right. God bless everyone. And